I'm Mo Rocca, and I'm excited to announce Season 4 of my podcast, Mobituaries. I've got a whole new bunch of stories to share with you about the most fascinating people and things who are no longer with us. From famous figures who died on the very same day, to the things I wish would die, like buffets. All that and much more. Listen to Mobituaries with Mo Rocca wherever you get your podcasts.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, streaming January 25th, only on Netflix.
Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we have a very special guest here in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Matthew Nixon, and I run Holliday Tintype. It's a photography studio.
Wow, and one of the first questions I always ask is, what brought you to Waco, or are you a Waco native?
I'm not a Waco native. I am a Texas-born, but moved to Waco maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
Then I moved away from Waco for 2 years, and 3 years I moved back. So,
There you go.
I'm pretty much stuck here, I think. So.
Stuck here.
Yeah.
A lot of creatives say that. They say they came here, ended up leaving for some reason or other, and now they're back. They call it the Waco suck.
My hometown was that way too. It was like people always say they can't get away from it. So thankfully I did. But no, I like Waco. It's I don't feel stuck here. But,
Yeah. And you've been able to see a lot of development since you've been here in Waco. What are some of your favorite things about living in Waco now?
I think I'm starting to sort of make friends here finally, which was something I didn't really know how to do. But with new businesses opening, being a business owner has kind of given me the opportunity to sort of like force myself onto other businesses, I guess.
Yeah.
And
We love that.
yeah, sort of weasel my way into being friends with the owners and tricking them and making them think I'm cool. But it's been nice. I like the growth that I've seen with small businesses here and how much the community's kind of pulled together. And I mean, I think True Jamaica was a really great example of like how much the community will, bond together to help save another business. So I really like that. And I think I hear people say it a lot, that it's like a big small town.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot.
We get the vibes of a small town, but we still big enough to not see each other every day.
Absolutely. I mean, I lived in Austin for almost a decade, and I get a lot of that feel with the creativity in restaurants and, the little nooks and crannies that you find of, small businesses doing cool things, but without the, major, I guess, overpopulation. It's very busy there. So,
Yeah, I got that.
But yeah.
And that's great because we are like right in the middle between Austin and Dallas. So
absolutely.
when you do want to go visit those places, we're a great place to be. But also our community itself is standalone. So we kind of have that opportunity for growth here. And we're able to do more things here, especially when it comes to small businesses. So with you being a small business owners, tell me how you got started doing this and tell me what you do.
Oh, I take... I don't know how to describe it. I take...
An artisan photographer.
Yes, I do tintype, which is a form of photography that was brought about in the 1850s.
Wow.
Early 1850s. And didn't really last very long because it's problematic, but I guess it's considered heirloom photography. I do 90% portraits. I dabbled in, landscape and things like that just when I'm free to do so. But what sort of started the ball rolling for me was my partner and I went and had one done in Dallas, by a woman named Ellen. She took our portrait, I think, 2 Valentines ago.
Aww.
And I think at that point I was like, okay, I think I can do this. I'd had some interest in the past, and I realized that there was far more work than I would have ever anticipated just watching somebody do it. But I think maybe 6, 7, 8 months later, I decided to go for it. And so I bought a camera and started sort of building all of the supplies that I thought I would need. So I think even to this day, I'm, surfing eBay for things that I still need. So it's like never ending purchases and fights to get everything in order. So, but yeah, it's all started with getting my tintype done.
Yeah.
So,
that's so great. And it's become a cycle, and now you do other people's tintypes.
I do.
So you might inspire them.
Yeah, and I get to meet other tintype artists that I find interesting and inspired by, and so that's been really cool. And I've gotten to travel to meet some of them. Some of them have come to the studio, and some of them have met me at shows in other cities. So it's been really cool, and I've sort of built this fun little community of friends that do tintypes in other places. So
that's so cool. Yeah. So explain a little bit about what a tintype is.
Oh, so a tintype is a photograph that's shot directly onto a sheet of aluminum through a chemical process. So I'll pour one chemical onto a aluminum plate that's been lacquered with it's black lacquer. And what'll happen, or what that chemical is called collodion, and it's a mixture of a few different things like ether, a few different kinds of salts, and I'll pour it onto the plate, let it set up, and then I'll drop it into a silver nitrate bath. And what that does is those two chemicals coming together photosensitizes silver particles and makes it into a shootable piece of film.
That's cool.
Yeah. So once I do that, then I take the photo and we wash and varnish them, and they're ready to go. So I think start to finish, the process takes 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
Wow.
So,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
And you've been doing pop-ups and events and all kinds of fun things. And you've been doing this for almost a year, right?
Yeah, so as a business, in January will be our first year. So we've had a lot of growth.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're, I think, 20 shy of 2,000 followers on Instagram, which is
go follow
huge.
them.
Yeah, which is huge for me as a small business, and doing something that sort of just started out as like a passion project that when I started actually making photos, I got really excited, and then it just sort of snowballed and became a full-fledged business. But it's been really organic. I mean, I don't think we'd have gotten anywhere without, actually taking people's photos. So it's like, take one person's photo, they post it on Instagram, and we get more followers. Those followers turn into pop-up, opportunities. And so it's been really cool. It's been kind of a whirlwind.
I can bet. Yeah. And so you guys are Holliday Tintype. So why Holliday Tintype? Why the name? Nothing to do with the holiday season, but kind of fitting.
We kind of we rolled around a few ideas. We definitely had other names that were sort of there for a little while, and then I just kind of thought Holliday Tintype sounded cool, and I thought people think of Doc Holliday and maybe, hopefully, and it's cowboys. I know it was kind of the wrong part of the country, but it's still westerny.
Yeah.
I think that he kind of operated in the late 1860s, so the time frame was pretty close. So I think it just sort of felt right for me.
Yeah.
And I thought it sounded cool, so
I think it sounds cool.
thank you. So we've kind of aesthetically, I've tried to sort of stay with my logo and things like that, sort of old-timey, westerny, just to kind of stay with the feel of the age of Tintype. So
That's really cool.
thank you.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
Hi, this is Sarah,
And I'm Carter.
and this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
And now, back to the episode.
Yeah,
So-
and you're getting to revive an art form, or as you said, heirloom. That's kind of been happening forever. And now getting to bring it back into 2023 coming up.
So it's 170 something
Woo.
year old art form that's definitely not dead, and I don't think it's dying by any means, but it's definitely still, I think, professionally a small community, but I know there's still hundreds and hundreds of people doing it, so
That's really cool. Yeah, and so here in Waco, what has it been like starting this business? Has the community received it with open arms? Have you found anybody that's been super interested, or what has it been like being a business owner here?
Waco has been good. It's been cool. I like it's been good with meeting new people. You know, it's I don't know, I'm having trouble with this one.
We're an interesting area, to say the least.
It's been a little slower at home growth, but we're excited to have a home studio that's like a real place for people to come.
Yeah.
I think that might be a little bit of the problem for us. The things that we have done have been good. We've felt very, people are very inviting. I think it's like any small business, there's room for growth, and we're hoping to do twice what we've done last year, and see if we can make Waco, a spot for tintypes. So.
That's cool. And what is something you would like to see more of in Waco?
I don't know. More tintypes.
More tintypes.
No, I don't know. I like the trajectory that Waco's got right now. It feels to be like it's growing at a pretty steady pace. Since I've been here, I feel like it's really recently started to kind of come into its own and become its own place, and not it's just second Austin or second Dallas. Like, I think it's Waco, and I think that we're, even from when I was a kid, pulling out of the shadow of what everybody thinks Waco is or was. And I like that. I want to see more of that. I want to see more of Waco becoming Waco, and growing and staying that big, small town. And, even if it still expands out past Baylor and, past Hawaiian Falls and all of that. And, I think that's okay. It's just stay like it's, stay on the path that it's on, I guess. That's what I'd like to see. So definitely feels good. It feels comfortable. I like being here. So, as long as it doesn't grow into, more apartments than people and things like that, I think that's good. So
yeah, and we're already coming up on the end of 2022, so it's crazy to see even in a year how much growth there's been. So who knows what's up for the future. You're looking into 2023 with your home studio. What are some of your goals, or what are some of your resolutions you're looking forward to for 2023?
Just growing. I mean, I would love to make Tintype a full-time business for myself, because, I mean, I'm not old by any means, but I've been, with my remodeling business, I'm old in that aspect. I'm just tired. That business is rough on you. So I'd like to get to a point where I'm just doing Tintype, or Tintype, and I silversmith a little bit on the side.
Ooh.
And as kind of another side hustle like Tintype is, and I'd love to do just those things and be creative more, and not worry so much about how much it hurts every time I stand up. So,
I got you.
but yeah, I think that's kind of my biggest goal. I'd really love to have, more people coming to the studio, because pop-ups are fun. We meet a lot of people, but I think the intimacy of being at the home studio is a lot cooler. People can come into the dark room with me. They can see,
it's a space you've curated for the experience.
Start to finish, they can see the whole process if they want to stick around or if they're interested in that. So with pop-ups, there's some modifications to some things that we use for the shows that I'd like to do to make it a little more, where people can see some of the behind the scenes stuff. But for the most part, it's my favorite thing is like shooting at home.
That's really cool.
I think that if we can figure out how to get more people in, that would be really awesome. But yeah, I definitely, in saying that though, I also would love to do more shows, spread out more. We're doing a show in Houston soon. We're going to go to Tulsa in March. And then I spent a couple of days in Arkansas where I grew up recently and did really well there. And so I definitely like the idea of doing pop-ups too. So, I'm
off the table.
I'm kind of torn between the two. If I was doing it full time, I think it would be okay. So I could do both. But yeah, I think that's my ultimate goal, is to just like really do more Tintype.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's a sustainable thing for me right now. So I'd like to take advantage of that. So
yeah. And I consider it more of an art form.
Sure.
So what has it been like being in the artist community and in the art scene here in Waco?
It's been cool. I've met a lot of really cool people here. I think for the most part, we've met artists because of it. But it's like I've met you, our friends at Central Goods, things like that have kind of...
Shout out Kate.
Yeah. And so it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's given me the opportunity to like do some cool stuff. So, like I mentioned it the other day with Stay Classy with the Harry Potter ball. That was a lot of fun. I got to make props for it. And
that's cool.
So that was a lot of fun, and just things like that. Musicians, I've met some musicians, and it just kind of puts me in a fun place to be as a creative.
Yeah.
So, but I do know that there are like hundreds of artists here that I've yet to meet. So I think that we can add that to my New Year's resolutions to whether or not it's, involved with Tintype or not. Like that's sort of where my passion lies is art. So if it's just as friends, that's fine. So
yeah, and finding your community is so important.
Absolutely.
Has there been anybody that has like helped you along this journey that you want to shout out? I always say you can shout out your mom, your dog, or your grandma. Anybody? Yeah,
my mom's been a big help. She definitely sat for me a lot in the early days. Would come into our space and shoot with us. My partner Kelsey has been, spent countless hours just listening to me just talk about Tintype because my way of solving problems is just talking about it out loud, and then my brain sort of resets and catches it. So she's thankfully dealt with a lot of that. Like I said, my friends at Central, they were a big help, especially at the beginning. I think we did our first pop-up with them, and then a second one was at Cultivate. So
Shout out.
So it's, and then really, everybody that's had us out, it's been a huge thing for us. Like I said earlier, if it wasn't for word of mouth, things like that, like, I think that would be, would be stuck.
Yeah.
A couple of, other tintypers have been huge helps. My friend Jacques, my friend Joseph, Lisa, Kate, Nicole, they're all huge helpers in this whole process of trying to troubleshoot, and because tintype is a endlessly frustrating process. So
I can imagine.
I think you have to be incredibly stubborn and hard-headed and strong-willed, especially to stick with it. So without them, helping me through the whole thing, I don't think I'd be here. So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so.
And it sounds like you've, started making friends and have created this amazing community. What is a way that people can find you and find where you're going to be and find more information about you?
We are on Instagram. I believe I have to check. Instagram is Holliday_Tintype, and it's Holiday with 2 L's. And yeah, you go there. I usually have highlight reels that kind of tell where we're going to be and what the pop-ups are. There's an appointment block on there, so you can make an appointment. And my direct messages are always open for anybody.
Slide in those DMs.
Yeah,
that's what I did.
You don't even have to use the app to make an appointment at the moment if you want to just ask me about it. Mm-hmm. So I usually like to talk people kind of through the process of what to wear, what not to wear. So if you're really serious about doing it, just hit me up that way. So, but as of right now, that's really my only form of communication with the outside world on Tintype. So we're hoping to have a website next year, and like I said, I'm going to try to get us onto the Googles. Mm-hmm. So see if we can move that forward and be more accessible to the community and have some fun.
Yeah, and that's super exciting. And again, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely, thank you.
This is very fascinating, and I love it. It's such a cool idea. And again, I just love the idea of doing something that was done back in the 1800s and doing it today.
Hopefully it's less frustrating now than it was back then.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so... But yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and is there anything else you want to share with our listeners today?
I don't think so. Just... Y'all come get some tintypes done.
Come get some tintypes. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Well, thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.